started. So we just wanted to do this brief introduction about what happened in the last 2 weeks. Quite a lot of things happened actually. So first thing was Penrose launched, and we had really good results. 60% of the units were actually sold on launch day, and I think from Penrose we realized that from the units that were being sold, you realize the 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 2 bed, 2 baths were all being sold. The remaining units are actually the 2+ study and above. So we see that quantums under 1.3 million are a very acceptable range to a lot of people out there, and that forms the bulk of the units that were being sold. For 3 bedrooms that are under 1.5 million, those units were also taken up really quickly. So that is roughly the kind of acceptable price ranges and quantums that people are expecting in the market nowadays. So following that news of 60% of Penrose being launched, then URA came up to say that they're clamping down on the reissue of the options to purchase for private homes, and it will take place immediately. So we saw this kind of as a mini cooling measure, not a real cooling measure per se. And this URA news actually came out before the flash estimate of the third quarter results for the private residential property price index coming out, to say that we saw an increase of 0.8% in Q3 compared to just 0.3% in Q2, and that's despite the whole COVID situation. So we believe that clamping down on reissue of options was to mitigate any kind of FOMOness or rushing into the market kind of syndrome that would happen once the flash estimates were out.
Yeah, so actually when we put it like that, right, it becomes quite obvious what the government is trying to do lah. Most likely, that's what we are guessing. They knew Penrose was going to launch. They knew the amount of the attention to that. So they obviously have already prepped this cooling down of the or clamping down on the reissuance of options lah. And so they probably have set a benchmark. If Penrose goes above a certain percentage, they will have to put this out on Monday. Also planning that they're going to release the flash estimates on Tuesday, because if they don't do that, imagine if you wake up, right, Sunday you see Penrose 60%, Tuesday you see the flash estimates that the property prices are going up. It may lead to a bubble forming, a bull run forming, a lot of FOMOness into the market. So when you see these three things together, you can tell what the government is trying to do, right? So that's about it for what is in the market, what's happening in the market now the last 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So share with us what you guys think, right? Kit, whoever else is with us, Yu Hui, right? Val. Okay. So today is our second episode on
the location,
on deep diving into analysis on locations all over Singapore, right? So today we are at the west, right? If you can see the line, we are cutting up from Clementi, Bukit Batok, Bukit Panjang up. Okay, it's perhaps in terms of area, this is the largest area in Singapore lah.
Yeah, so when it comes to the west, everyone is always talking about the Jurong Innovation District, the Jurong Lake District, the whole second CBD story. But for us, we like to take future transformation with a pinch of salt, and we prefer to look at more solid fundamentals when it comes to property investing. So when we saw the master plan, the things that really jumped out, first one was Tengah, and we believe that this is going to be the biggest driver of the property market, being the HDB upgraders for the west. So here we're going to have an entire new town that's going to estimate 42,000 houses. And just for reference, right, this 42,000 houses is 4 times the size of Bidadari. So you can imagine a whole new equivalent of Punggol coming up in the west in the form of Tengah. So this is bigger than your mature estates like Bishan or like Pasir Ris or like Jurong East, and this will form a large number of upgraders in about maybe 10 years time. So how do we, make use of this information? We feel that the condos surrounding Tengah will have a lot of room for growth, especially those that are upgrader friendly. But it's just that we might need to wait a little while before we can see a lot of real benefits coming from that, because we still need to wait for these guys to get their keys and live out their 5-year MOP period before they can start selling and upgrading. Yeah. So then Alvin will move on to the next point for the
right.
west.
So the next point, which is perhaps something that is very popular nowadays, like you must have heard of it, which is the Beauty World transformation. Right. The interesting thing about Beauty World, right, is that if you really go and look at the URA website under the master plan, it is not specifically something mentioned in the master plan, right? But I think because there's a lot of new developments that were launched in that area, then the developers have utilized this change. Okay, follow me, right? What has changed in the master plan between 2014 and the recent master plan? Notice that plot near the middle, if you can see my arrow, right? It was supposed to be healthcare, right? Some sort of hospital, so on and so forth in this area, but they've actually changed it to a integrated transport hub, which obviously has created a lot of buzz in that area. But without becoming too long-winded because like we said, this is not really a master plan sharing, more so how does it affect the property market in that area. We summarized it into what we like and don't have concerns with regards to this whole Beauty World District 21 area, right? So what we like, right, about the developments in this area, you can see at the corner, Daintree Residences, we have Kismis, we have Foret, we have Verdale, right? And of course, coming up also the Link, which is this middle circle, right? Middle circle over here. Okay, what we like, there's a lot of amenities, right? So it's very upgrader friendly. Number two, if you notice this plot on the left of the MRT and also on the right of the Link line, so the Link being in the middle, left, right, these two have not been launched yet. No plans whatsoever as yet. Right? So this will create when they do actually launch and when they do sell in the future, it will create a boost for the prices in that area. But now, right, the most immediate boost will come from the integrated transport hub, right? Number three, right, the quantums of the developments, the launches in this area, which is considered the RCR, Rest of Central Region, still relatively affordable, right? View at Kismis is a good example, 2-bed, 2-bath around was it 1.2 to 1.3? 1.1 actually, 1.1, yeah. 2-bed, 2-bath, right? Very affordable quantums, because it's really just at the line of the RCR to the CCR, right? So over in the CCR, of course, it's going to make things a lot more unaffordable for the upgrader. So we see it lying really in a nice sweet spot with regards to location, with regards to quantum. So we believe the 2-bedroom premiums, the 3-bedroom compact, right, 3-bedroom premiums in this area should be very good, should perform well in the long term. Okay, some of the concerns, right, and I believe most of you should know, those that have taken a look at this area, is the relatively high supply in this area. So high supply obviously is not so good for rentals. So if you are looking for rental yield per se, this is perhaps not quite the right area for you to look at, right? Later on, we will share perhaps some of the better options. So instead of getting one bedroom or small units, right, try to get at least the 2 bedrooms or the 3 bedrooms, right, that you can afford, and then you target the upgraders in the future, right? But then if you look at this area, right, after this bunch of supply, right, Daintree, View at Kismis, this bunch of supply, the other 2 small plots, right, and that 2 small plots that I was talking about, there's not much else in the area already. in terms of the much future supply, the future supply much later on down the road lah. So with a mid to long term holding period, you should be okay in this area, right? Regardless. Number two concern that we have is the lack of BTOs. So you know how much we prioritize and how we always say having BTOs in the area is very, very important because it creates organic demand. So there is a lack of organic demand over here, especially in terms of upgraders, right? But I think because of the amenities there and the fact that most West Siders are already familiar with this area, that they will still want to move there lah, right? Given the chance and given the affordability, because people are familiar with the area. Maybe as a comparison versus an area like Hillview, one MRT stop down that is perhaps not so well known, right? Not so much amenities, right? People will probably prefer the Beauty World one, right? Yeah. So next, right, we talk about land sales.
Yeah, so land sale, Alvin mentioned, we are just left with this one confirmed piece of land sale in the west to be launched, which is in Beauty World, which would be our integrated development with a bus terminal. So it will be something like what we see at Jurong Point, and a lot of people in Singapore have this obsession with mixed use integrated development. And yeah, I think we can have some guesses on what the PSF will be when they launch, and we have to bear in mind that this is a 99-year property.
Come, let's make some guesses. How much in terms of PSF, right? Just for reference, Foret I believe was about slightly less than 2,000, maybe 1,008, 1,009 to 2,000.
Yeah.
The link is expected to come up, I believe, is about 2,000 to 2,001. The link being freehold right across the road.
Yeah.
So how much do you think, right? So this plot will be, the tender is open, but I think it will close early part of next year lah. Come, give us a guess, right? Hi Mindy. Yeah, welcome. Give us a guess. How much do you think they will launch this plot at? Right, then we come back lah. But anyway, for us, we expect it, right? We are just putting it out there lah, right? Correct us if we are wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we were wrong with our Penrose guess. We thought 1,007 plus PSF. So we think 2,003. Kid 1,009. Wow, 1,009 just whack. It would be very, very good deal if it's at 1,009. Yeah. We guess maybe about 2,003 lah. Mixed use, prime Beauty World RCR area. Yeah.
Connected to the MRT.
Yeah, lor. Yeah. Okay, right.
But yeah, so this will be quite interesting because it's an integrated development in a mature area with a lot of private properties. A bit different from your Jurong Point and Sengkang Grand, which is more in the heartlands, more in the HDB area. So this comparison we feel will be closer to what we see, for example, Park Place at Paya Lebar or One Holland Village, in terms of its performance, in terms of the look and the feel of that development as a whole. Yeah.
Okay,
then
next.
Go.
Right, our favorite, right? Most of you watch us because of our case studies, right?
Yeah, so today's case study, we will compare West Coast Vale, where we are comparing Park Rivera, which is a new launch, 99-year, versus Carabel, which is a resale, and it would be at about 8 years old at the same time of Park Rivera. Carabel is a little bit funny. The tenure is 956 years from 1928, so almost like a freehold. So if we look at something at the similar price range of about 1 mil, at Park Rivera we can have a 3-bedroom compact at 1,200 per square feet, 1.08 million, and at Carabel we will get a 2-bed 2-bath at 1.02 million. Okay,
so so for our listeners, right, make a guess, or not make a guess lah, right? If we were you,
Which one would you buy?
In 2017, which one will you buy? If you're an
Yeah.
investor lah, you want to buy for investment, you got about $1 million in budget. Which one would you buy, right? For context, right? Let's take a look at the location.
Yeah, so Park Rivera is this red dot over here, and Carabel is this square over here. So, I mean, clearly Park Rivera is further away from the MRT, about 2.8 km from Clementi MRT station. Carabel is nearer, but the thing is we are separated by this AYE, and so having to cross the AYE through the overhead bridge and whatnot is also quite a distance, so it's not exactly the most convenient of locations in this area. We basically want to show you that this whole area here on the left side of the AYE, there are not many amenities. We are not near the MRT. It's more of a landed area, more quiet. Yeah, so which one?
Well, Kit will buy Park Rivera because Kit always listen to us, and last few times our example always show freehold resale cannot make money. right now, Kit. Okay, so let's look at the answers, right? Here it is. Okay. So Park Rivera, right? Why I put profit with asterisk? Because okay, Park Rivera, this unit was actually transacted, right? Resold in the resale market for a profit of $140,000. Okay, for Carabel, the unit was bought in 2017 at 1.02 million. That particular unit has not been resold onto the market yet, but later we'll share with you. We took a recent transaction for comparison, and just to put it as a ballpark, how much profit will you make, right? So in terms of annualized, right, we always use this annualized percentage profit, right? Park Rivera 4.3, Carabel 4.4%, right? In terms of a percentage profit, actually Carabel beat out Park Rivera, this particular unit. Okay, right. So, very different from
what happened in the east.
From what happened in the east, right? So because after last week's session, right, everybody texts us saying, oh, so Alvin, Elizabeth, are you saying freehold property cannot make money, freehold resale cannot make money? So not 100% true, right? It's not easy to find one to make money, but we found it, right? It's over here in our West Coast. But we want to use this case study really as in a learning point. There's a couple of reasons. The reasons that drive their capital appreciation is very different between Carabel and Park Rivera. We will dive into it and let's see what we can learn from this example.
Yeah, so let's see. These are the transactions for Carabel.
For Carabel, right, you see, this one was the one we picked out, right? 1.02 million transacted in July 17. Recently, August 2020, right? Same unit size, also low floor, right? Sold at 1.155 lah. So that's where we took the estimated valuation and the estimated profit. Over here in Park Rivera, right, we've highlighted the unit that was sold, right, 904 square feet lah, July 2020. So buy and sell almost around the same time period. Okay, right. So Park Rivera, most of the units average out into about a 4.26% per annum profit, which is very good considering that it is over 2 km away from the MRT, not much facilities. And another difference, right, with Park Rivera versus the example that we gave High Park over in Sengkang is the lack of BTOs around it, right? Park Rivera around them, not much BTO one. So why can still make so much money, right? Let's take a look. We boil it down to 3 main things lah: developer staging, timing, and quantums. Okay, what do we mean by that? So I put out this particular stack 5 as an example. Okay, follow me. 13, level 13, okay, 1305 sold in December 17. You see the price 1.064 million. Okay, number 2, right? Level 12, 1 floor lower, sold just 5 months later. Okay, for a 200k premium. For a 200k premium, yeah, why? Oh, okay. Yeah, for a 200k premium. So the developer shift the price up because the 1205 was one of the last few units sold. Then you see the most recent transaction 1205, which is the example that we picked up, 1505. Tap on the valuations of the last transacted developer unit to sell at 1.225 million, yielding that profit, right? So from here you can see what some of the things that we learned. December 17 is actually almost 1 year after Park Rivera's actual launch, right? It was launched in 16. So it's if you look at it, it was perhaps maybe about the 80% sold period when 1305 entered. Can still make money? Can, right? Because a lot of people also ask us, now most of the condos are already like 70%, 80%, so still can buy or not, right? So we picked up some examples that we can learn of. As long as you try to avoid being the last few units, usually it should be still okay. All right. Another thing to take note of is the timing. You see, December 17, which is, if you all remember correctly, is where the market is starting to pick up, right? The start of the en bloc cycle. You see May 18 is actually at the peak of the en bloc cycle. Let's take a look at this graph, right? You all must have seen this. We shared this, I think, was it 2 to 3 sessions ago, right? If you follow me, right, in Q3 7 is where the unsold inventory, right? So this is where the developers' existing stock was at the lowest. And once it dipped to the lowest point, they went up into the market to start buying en bloc properties, and that kickstarted the whole market bull run, right? So you can see that in actually the mid of 18 was when the market peaked, the orange line, the market peaked. And if you guys remember, in July 18, that was when the government came out with the new round of cooling measures, right? So you see the two things back to back, right? Number one, Park Rivera last few units was tied in line very closely with when the market was shooting up. The market was recovering, developers were coming back onto the market, right? And so that's why it allowed the developer to stage the prices up so much. So it really fell very well, actually, into like where last few units allow them to stage a unit, the prices up in line with when the market is entering a bull run. Okay, the quantums of Park Rivera in today's market are also very attractive. Okay, for reference, right? The first one, the one bedder, right, 670,000, and this is prices done in the resale market. 2-bedroom is under 1,980,000 over 1,000. A 3-bedroom compact 1.22 million, right? For comparables, right, if you were to go to another new launch to take a look, the cheapest 1-bedroom in the west side, right, is now already 768k at Whistler Glen, right across the road. It's literally right across the road. So almost 100k difference, right? So people see the value proposition here, they choose to take the resale instead, right? Some of them also don't want to wait. 2 bedrooms, cheapest, Dairy Farm, 1.05 million. Here you can get 25k cheaper, right? No need to wait. So people also choose here. Park Clementis for 3 compact. Park Clementis is at 1.5 million already. So it's almost 300k cheaper over at Park Rivera. So you can tell how quantums, again, is also another point that we always like to focus on. Quantums. Yes, affordability is very, very important, right? But the thing also to another learning point is that time when Park Rivera launched, people also say very expensive.
For the area where there was nothing much there.
There was nothing much. A lot of people don't dare to buy. Somehow they say freehold next door, right? The Caravan example, freehold next door selling cheaper. Next time, how to make money? So there was a lot of fear in people accepting Park Rivera as an investment. So today it has come full circle, right? We've seen it in the resale market. You see how much correct timing, correct development, correct quantums can play out to your advantage in an investment. Yep.
So for Carabel, the things that did well for them was basically they rode the market cycle, and they had the spillover demand and hype from TwinView. Second point was because their quantums was also in this very sweet spot. For the 2 bedrooms being about 1.2 million, 3 bedroom being 1.4 to 1.6 million, which is in the very affordable quantum and price range that most people can buy. And the last point is basically because of the lack of freehold supply and competition in the West. So we just take a look at the transactions for Carabel. You see that from 2015 to 2017, the prices range at about 1.0 something million. 2017, we see at 1.02 million. But in 2018, it suddenly jumped up to 1.18 million. And the question is, what happened during then? So if you remember what Alvin said earlier, from 2017 to 2018, that was when the market cycle went up. And just nice, it corresponded with the timing of TwinView being sold 85% over the launch day. And you see the dates. The TwinView launch was in May 2018. So probably some folks went for TwinView, didn't get their choice unit, and then they went over to Carabel and decided to buy something there instead. And it's always back to this example about our valuations and past transactions. You realize that after this May 2018 transaction, right, at 1.18 million, then the prices kind of held steady and went up for Carabel. But the thing is like that for resale units is that you must always have that one joker or that one very nice person to pay that COV of 100 plus K, and then your transactions can start moving and move higher at a different benchmark. So it doesn't mean that it will not happen to all. It will happen to some, but we just have to be very careful in picking it. For us, we personally feel that Carabel, Botania, Infinity, those developments are not too bad. They each have about 300 units and about 10 transactions each year. So it's just that in the resale market, you are more subjected to market cycles, and you need something like the TwinView effect to happen for it to go well for you.
Yeah. Sorry, before we go to the next slide, this just happened to me while I was looking at it. I'm not sure about you guys, right? But don't you feel the news article like very similar to the article that we share at the start, right? The whole Penrose one, you notice that the market is picking up. So usually this would trigger quite a bit of FOMO effect, and also trigger a knock-on effect into the resale market lah. Cause if you ask around, there's many people that miss the opportunity to buy Penrose. So they most likely spill over, right? If you are Sims Urban Oasis owner, for example, you may see some spillover effect from Penrose. The second thing I noticed is that our example over here, it is the exact same block, one floor lower, right? 1 year later, the guy buy more expensive, 120,000. Yeah, so 160,000. Ask yourself, how many of you listening in to us will want or be willing to pay the 160,000 to buy a one floor lower unit versus the transaction 1 year ago, right? Yeah, just food for thought, okay? Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so if we look,
sorry, this is my slide. Yeah, this is my slide. Okay. On the part about lack of freehold supply in the West, so what I did, I went into Property Guru. I cut the map. Property Guru actually can do map search one. Freehold developments in the West side. So cut down that line, our line Clementi, cut upwards, one straight line. You get about 632 freehold listings. Okay. And if you look at Jurong West and Jurong East, actually Jurong East all the way onwards, there's actually no freehold development. And if you guys don't know, Jurong West is the single biggest HDB town in Singapore. So there's a lot of HDBs over there, HDBs upgraders as well. that may want to upgrade to a freehold and they have not much choice if they want to stay in the west, right? Most of the freehold units in the west are focused in these few MRT stations: Beauty World, the future Hume MRT, and the current Hillview MRT, right? You see, out of 600 plus, close to 400 is focused here. The other 200 actually is over at where we are in the over at the West Coast area and bits and pieces here and there lah, right? So not much choice. And actually, if you look at the prices of the units in this area, the Beauty World, Hillview area, the quantums are quite high. You see this Bukit Regency 1399, because they are older developments, so they are larger in size, hence the quantums are actually bigger. So you see it's a very natural flow. If somebody is in the west looking at affordable freehold, they will flow naturally to this West Coast area lah. Compare this so what's the difference, right? Why last week we talked about 2 weeks back we talked about Changi Court performed so badly compared to a 99-year new launch, but over here Carabel can match a 99 and even beat a 99-year new launch. So I did the same thing on the east side. You notice we have 3,000 listings versus 600 in the west. So it's really a supply thing lah. There's so many options. No reason why somebody will come to you to pay you that 120k COV to buy your unit 1 floor lower lah. Remember the example, right? So just put yourself in the shoes of a buyer. Today you want to buy, you got so many other options to choose from. Would you then go and pay that COV to buy that particular unit? Quite unlikely, right? Yeah. So we pick this out really just to help you all understand lah. Have to watch out for the whole demand supply dynamics to things. Okay, so how do we make use of all this information? What do we recommend? So we talk so much, of course we believe the freehold at West Coast is something worth considering, right? Your Infinity, Botania, Carabel, 100 Trees, the Park, right below the AYE, something in the very upgrader friendly price points, right? 1.2 million 2-bedders, 1.4 to 1.6 million 3-bedders. And if you're looking at investment, you're looking at a new launch, right? We particularly like Park Clementi's, right, because of the strong fundamentals, right? What are the fundamentals we are talking about, right? Number one, right, it has supporting transactions, right, in neighboring resale condos, namely Trilink and Clement Canopy, that is already hitting the price quantums and also hitting the per square feet that Park Clementi's is asking at, right? Your 1,006, I believe, 1,005, 1,006 PSF, right? Your 3-bedroom compact 1.5 million, already done in the resale, in the neighboring resale property, something that is actually very hard to find in new launch developments. Number two, right, it's all the more rare to find a new launch in a mature estate, right, that have supporting per square feet and supporting quantums from resale properties, right? Because if you look at Queenstown, Toa Payoh, this kind of Red Hill, a new launch easily is 20%, 10 to 20% more expensive than the resale, right? Very seldom, very seldom, like Gem Residences when they launch, right? It was a good, I think, 200 to 300 per square feet more expensive than the existing resale properties, right? So it's very rare. It's quite a rare opportunity lah, we feel. So with mature estates, right, it comes with your amenities, your transport. For Clementi, you come with Nanhua, right? Solid school. Basically, it makes the resale so much easier. It's so easy to visualize the who you're going to sell the unit to, right? We always say must visualize who you're going to sell it to. Upgraders lah, right? And over that side, right, not much supply, only one land sale, the Jalan Anak Bukit one, the mixed use development, which we estimate easily you're going to cross 2,000 per square feet. Wouldn't be the most affordable condo. So naturally, people will start flowing back into Clementi, right? Upgraders, right? The condos in Clementi easily 8 to 900,000, right? They can well afford. The HDB is 8 to 900,000. So while people may have concern about the size, right? Park Clementi's, I believe you have 1,700 plus units, if I'm not wrong. I think around that lah. We like size. right? You know how much we like size, right? Based on the Hyde Park example, Coco Palms example, right? And you know, large developments in the OCR always do well one. Yeah, you can never go wrong with a large development in the OCR. On top of all the extra, you know, solid fundamentals that we talk about lah. Right, but of course, I think Park Clementi is almost 70+%. So if you have missed out on Park Clementi's, the next upcoming one is Clavon, right? Depending on how much per square feet they launch at, I think the land sale price was not too expensive. So it's perhaps worth considering.
We may see the same effect at Clavon, which what we saw at Penrose, where we expected a higher PSF, but end up it came up to something more reasonable.
Yeah, so hopefully for all those of you who are listening, aiming Clavon, right?
Yeah.
The developers are kind to everybody and launch it at a more reasonable price lah, right? 1,004, 1,005 PSF, like what we saw at Penrose. Again, no brainer, right? Considering the fundamentals of Clementi. Some other developments, right? KI, Phoenix, right? The Link, like we mentioned, right? Jalan Anak Bukit, the one is freehold mixed-use development, right? And of course, the last one is Normanton Park. Perhaps something forgotten. We all forgot already.
But that would be exciting. Normanton would be exciting.
That will also be exciting lah. Again, not the most convenient, but huge development. But we really don't know when that's going to launch lah, because the developer cannot sell until they build finish. Yeah. So that's about it. For us, right? Hi Spencer. A bit late, but yeah. Almost done already. You can join us in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Q&A time, right?
Anyone got questions for us?
Anyone have questions for us, right? Westside got, especially the District 21 got a lot of new launches. If anyone have questions on those new launches for us. Yeah. Kid, any question? I know, but Kid stay east side lah, so maybe west side not so many questions, right, Kid? Yeah. Yihui also east sider, so probably not so much questions for the west. Yeah. Okay, maybe we give another 30 seconds for any questions to come in. If we don't have any questions, we will see you guys in 2 weeks time for the south, which we know already have a lot of people waiting. We got texts saying people are waiting for the south. The most exciting part, because the south and includes while waiting for any questions to come up, let's see what are the areas we'll talk about for the south.
Right.
Okay, the south, right?
Yeah.
Very exciting areas, Marine Parade all the way up to Bishan, down to Queenstown. Of course, we will include our Orchard CBD area. Actually, there are a lot of areas.
Actually, like that, now that I'm looking at it, actually Penrose is part of the south, according to this south that you do.
Yeah. Probably. Oh, hi Darren. Yeah. Also a bit late, gonna end now, Darren. Yeah, anyway, yeah, right? If you guys have no other questions, right, see you guys 2 weeks time for the south, the most exciting one, quite exciting. Okay, alright, that's all, right? See you guys 2 weeks time. Bye bye.